In the middle of the 1300s, in the Muslim lands of Khwarezm, in modern-day Uzbekistan, a young Mongol boy named Timur prepares to steal his neighbor's sheep. He is a clever and stealthy adversary to the shepherd, but this time, his luck will fail him. It is said that he receives a wound that never fully heals, making him lame for life. As he grows to power, he is called Timur the Lame, or Tamerlane in the West. It is a name that his enemies will come to dread. By the year 1360, Timur is an important emir, or leader, a master chess player, a skilled strategist. Though he is a Mongol, he cannot claim descent from Genghis Khan, so he creates an elaborate genealogy linking himself to the great leader. He even takes 2 wives descended from Genghis Khan to legitimize his claim.
Samarkand was a garden city, and one of Timur's main construction activities was to provide irrigation canals that opened up whole suburbs with these wonderful gardens. Because Timur was a Muslim, he also constructed Muslim buildings, and he used a lot of the booty that he acquired when he conquered India to construct an absolutely enormous mosque. One of the attributes of Timur seems to have been his pride and his megalomania, we might say. And you see this in this mosque. It is colossal. Size was the big thing. The entrance way is 50 feet tall. And clearly the impression you're supposed to get is I, the humble little worshiper, have to go through this 50-foot doorway to get in.
The magnificence of Samarkand is a testament to the might of Timur, but it is also a testament to his brutal means of keeping order. Outside the walls of Samarkand, his merciless cruelty becomes legend. From 1385 on, Timur systematically sacks all of Western Persia, as well as cities throughout Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, and the Caucasus. Tens of thousands of people are slain along the way. In 1398, Timur follows in the footsteps of the Greeks, leading an audacious expedition over the world's most notorious mountains, the Hindu Kush. He then lays waste to northern India. But the farther Timur extends his reach, the more difficult it is to control hostile populations. When the inhabitants of Delhi rebel against their new Mongol masters, Timur takes a page out of Genghis Khan's Book of Terror and writes a new and even more horrific chapter.
The reports that he cut off the heads of his victims and piled them into huge heaps occur so often that one can't help wondering whether this is not accurate and not just mere rhetoric, but it wouldn't account for the numbers, 70,000, 80,000. I think we're talking about psychological warfare, which is something that the Mongols had introduced. It's one thing to go to war, it's quite another to use terror as a weapon of war, and this is what Timur did.
The vaulted skyline of modern-day Istanbul bears testament to the one dynasty that stood in the way of Timur's dream of a Genghis-sized empire, the Ottoman Turks. In 1402, Timur's expanding lands reached the immovable borders of Ottoman Sultan Bayezid. Proud to the point of arrogance, neither leader can tolerate the other. Timur even goes so far as to suggest Bayezid's mother is of dubious birth, meaning she is a whore. Bayezid can stand no more. Leading one of the finest armies in the world, the Sultan rides out of his fortress at Ankara to meet Timur's far smaller force. Confident and imposing, he knows little of the cunning genius of the Mongol Timur. Traveling off the beaten track, he catches the Sultan off guard. he lays siege to the Turkish stronghold Ankara itself. It is a humiliating turn of events for Bayezid. He is forced to beat a hasty retreat to defend his city. When his weary troops finally arrive, they are no match for the well-rested Mongols. Even worse, in the heat of battle, an entire Turkish battalion defects to the Mongol side when they see a beloved prince fighting for Timur. Tricked, betrayed, and totally routed, Sultan Bayezid nobly refuses to leave the field of battle. He is determined to fight to the last, but he is captured and taken prisoner. The Ottoman defeat may taste sweet to Timur, but it is even more delicious to Christian Europe.
Now, if you look at this on the grand strategic map of Eurasia at the time, the Ottoman sultans were poised to scoop up Constantinople. They had moved into Europe, they had encircled it, they were ready to begin the siege that would have destroyed the principal city of Eastern Christendom. And just then, that was their bad luck. Someone came knocking at their back door, and that was Timur. The reaction in Europe to the defeat of Bayezid Yildirim was unrestrained joy.
With the defeat of the Ottomans in 1402, Timur's empire nearly matches Genghis Khan's in size and scope. Predictably, it is not enough for the voracious conqueror. To secure his place in history, he must do his hero one better. And the only way to accomplish this is to take what Genghis could not: China. But like Genghis Khan, Timur mysteriously falls ill and dies on the march to China. In 1405, in Samarkand, he is laid to rest in a tomb as ornate as Genghis Khan's was simple.
There's a curious story that as he lay dying, he said, "Do not disturb my grave, for if you do, a fate worse than me will fall upon you." And his grave was kept absolutely untouched until the 22nd of June 1941, when Soviet archaeologists opened the grave and found the skeleton of a tall man with a damaged hip. And on the 22nd of June 1941, Hitler launched his attack on Russia. And that was the signal for some 20 million Russians to perish in the following 4 years. So you could say that he had a long arm, and that long arm stretched right into the 20th century.
Without the force of Timur's personality and leadership, his heirs are unable to hold the empire together. The Mongols begin to fade into history. Too small in number to rule their vast empire, they become assimilated into the cultures they conquer